doing some sharing. Hang on. Hang on one more second. All right. Got it shared in under 45 seconds. Look at how good I am. Shared on both pages. 45 seconds. I'm quick. That's what I always tell my wife. I mean, I don't have to tell her anymore. I got you, baby. I'm quick. I'm quick. I'll be quick about it. Ooh. So, is Thrill the bad guy? Well, is Thrill Houses the bad guy?
Bleach in or not?
Sure. I mean, you grab it. You can do it. Turn that off, please, for a second. Thank you.
Okay, wait, no. Let's do it in a second. I am.
Gotta poop.
Yeah. Actually,
Okay, wait. No, come here.
Do it. And
Come here.
We'll,
She went to the bathroom. Broly's getting a little rough.
good boy.
She pooped?
No.
Okay, dude. Well, then you need. Broly can get rough. It's okay.
Why'd you grab a
Dude,
vagina?
trust me. Okay? She'll be
Have your
fine.
phone.
Here.
Because I'm gonna listen to music.
Here,
while I'm
take
cleaning
her
the bathroom.
outside, run her around till. What are you holding her like that for? Run her around till she poops. Okay? Just play with her. Broly, he looks rougher than it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Take this off. Come on.
Well done.
Oh, I already loosened it. You got to push on it to take it off. So pour
Yeah,
maybe like 2 capfuls in. That's all you need. Make sure you don't spill it on the
I'm gonna
rug.
Use the cap.
No. God damn it. Why would you ever do that?
But I opened the
Okay.
pills once, so
Cool.
I know how to do it.
A little bit more. A little more. That's it. That's all you need. It's very strong like your mother's
It's
breasts.
very powerful. It's very unstoppable, and
It's very powerful. Okay, so
I love him.
since you're gonna poop,
I'm
put
gonna
hot water in it.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
turn the hot water on. It'll cool off by the time you're ready.
No.
Only help you with what? Fill it halfway with hot water.
I don't know how to do hot water.
What are you talking about, dude?
I don't. Which way? How do you do hot water?
Are you kidding me right now?
Yes, I don't know.
Which one's hot and which one's cold, moron?
You're asking the wrong man. I don't know.
You don't know how to adjust your shower when
The
you're
only
in
way-
it?
The way I make it warm is if I put this like to here and put this here. So I don't
Okay,
know.
well, move the bucket and figure it out.
Can you just tell me?
Nope,
I don't want to burn myself.
you won't. It doesn't come out screaming, burning hot. You make your guess as to which one you think the hot water is.
This one.
Okay, well, turn it on and see what happens.
Wait, actually, I could just.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything.
It did one time.
No, it didn't. The water doesn't touch those. Don't turn them both on. Turn one on at a time. You absolute moron.
This is cold water.
So what does that make the other one?
Hot water.
Oh my God.
Alright, so just turn this one on fully.
Yeah.
Fill it halfway, you said?
Yeah. Holy shit. Seriously, this is this generation. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen? These are gonna be the people. This is idiocracy. These are gonna be the people that beg to be, taken care of. It's terrifying, right? Wow. Yeah. Yep, I'm the coward, says the pedophile. Why don't you want to meet with me? Why don't you want to meet with me? They're so fucking stupid. Like, they just make this so easy. What mother and son project do you got going? He's cleaning the bathroom. So I wanted to watch this video because I thought it was good.
Watch what nuts do to our body. A walnut is really good for you. It's loaded with omega-3 fats. With
Joe, tell us how you're a pedophile.
You just made a blood libel against the Jewish state.
You just made a blood libel.
We can't keep doing this. We can't keep doing this.
Do you guys know what blood libel means? So just so people understand. Because they love to throw this term around, and ignorant people, purposefully ignorant people made to be ignorant, just don't understand what words mean. You're not supposed to. You're that, And so a great example is blood libel and what they've done with it. Because blood libel, or ritual murder libel, also blood accusation, is an anti-Semitic trope which falsely accuses friars of murdering Christians in order to use their blood in performance of religious rituals. Echoing very old myths of secret cultic practices in many prehistoric societies, the claim, as it is leveled against friars, was rarely attested to in antiquity. Sure. The first examples of medieval blood libel emerged in the Kingdom of London in the 1140s. And there have literally, watch this. Watch when I, right? So history. For something that doesn't exist, it sure has a lot of history. Like a lot of history. These are all different examples. All of these are 1475, 1490, 1494, 1529, 1492, 1670. Like, it's just example after example. 19th century, you have 1821, 1823, 35, 1840, 1840, 1844, 1851 to 53, 1855, 1879, 1882, 1899, in the 20th century, 1903, 1910, 1913, 1928, 1934, not sure when that one is, 1938, 1944, 1946, 1964 through 75, 1986, 2003, 2005, 2005 again, 2007, the 2000s, 2010, 2012, 2013, another 2013, 2014, another 2014, another one that doesn't say, 2019, 2020, 22, and 2025. Right? This is what they do. Look, I have, I show my face. I don't hide my identity. I show you my sources. I give everyone the opportunity to tell me what I am wrong about. And yet, this is the shit that I lying coward. Which part's a lie? Which part am I? What am I running from? What am I running from? You're not actually, like, you're a lying piece of shit pretending you were gonna come meet me somewhere. You wouldn't come get your ass whipped, because I just beat your ass. That's literally all I'd do if I found you. I would beat your fucking pedo ass. It's the last thing you want. But you're not gonna show up anywhere. You're just a lying piece of shit. You're a friar. What you do is lie. It's part of your gig. If a friar is talking to you, they're lying to you. Their entire existence is based on lies. You understand? The entire friar identity is a lie. Right? It's a lie. Their entire existence is predicated on the idea that Exodus happened. And Exodus is so impossibly false. It's like a joke. It's like, why would anybody ever believe it other than, they're just really stupid, I guess. I can't. It's not like it's a believable story. It's not like it's fathomable or it's anything. It's really, you'd have to be a really stupid person and brainwashed to the fullest. The book of Exodus, the second book of the Hebrew Torah and the Christian Bible, the biblical story of the migration of the ancient Israelites from Egypt into Canaan. The Exodus. I don't play that dumb shit. I was on my way and I'm still in Michigan, Detroit. Yeah, sure you are. And no, you couldn't touch me. Yeah, sure. I couldn't beat down some little 5'5". I just hit you in the nose, dude. I'd hit sideways and I'd hit you in the nose. I'd beat you just into the ground. But you're not that type anyway, right? You're a friar pedophile piece of shit. Pedophiles are cowards. They are cowards by nature. Everything they do is lies and trickery and manipulation because they're piece of shit cowards. Right? Again, I'm not the one hiding behind a fake profile, you fucking piece of shit. You've had the opportunity to prove your legitimacy for a long time. I tell everybody, because, I'm such a coward, I encourage you to make videos called Guy Williams Sucks so I can find them really easily and show them on my feed. And you can show everybody how smart you are and how capable you are and how stupid I am. All you have to do is make the same video I'm making, but use your dumb face. You probably have to turn it sideways so we can get around the nose. We can actually see anything other than nose, but still. Yep, crack psychosis, yep. We are talking about psychosis because remember, when in doubt, go with mental illness. That's the friar motto. As said in Auto Emancipation is a pamphlet written anonymously written in German by a Russian, Polish friar doctor who was only a doctor because friars weren't allowed to practice law in Russia. So he got his law degree and then decided to become a doctor. An activist, Leon Pinsker, in 1882. Even though, again, it was anonymously written and assigned to him much later. It is considered a founding document of modern friar nationalism, especially Zionism. Pinsker discussed the origins of anti-Semitism and argued for friar self-rule and the development of a friar national consciousness. He wrote that friars would never become of Goyim. Wait, what? Okay, so
She's just outside.
So why aren't you out there with her?
Do I need to be?
Yeah, go out there, have fun with her. Why are you in here? You're not doing anything. Your brother is actually doing something. So since he's working and you're just a distraction, you go out with the dog.
Dad, you got 12 cents.
I know, isn't that awesome?
From what?
No idea. It's what you don't cash checks like that, dude. Random check comes out of nowhere. You have no idea what it is. Yeah, and it's 12 cents. You can't even cash a check like that. Like, it would cost more money to cash it than it would. You got to drink this chocolate milk today if you want it, bud. No. No, just finish your job and then you can have it.
This is the coolest golf ball. George Washington.
Where'd you get that?
It was come here. Mom, on you. Put it right there.
Cool. Go out with the dog.
Want it, she's a bum.
Yep. You want a puppy? Yep, I've lost it. Become the social equals of Goyim until they had a state of their own. He called on friar leaders to convene and address the problem. In the pamphlet, he describes anti-friar attacks as a psychosis, a pathological disorder, and an irrational phobia. So every single time and you can see it anywhere. Look up any interview with Anna Kasparian. Look up any interview where anybody questions anything. And it's that's blood libel. We're gonna watch it in a minute. Let's actually watch this first. What? Okay, then I guess take her in your room and go chill out.
What would you tell a mom who
You can always tell if she pooped by the size of her stomach.
questioned twice? Israel.
Same thing with your mom.
I count myself among those people. Post October 7th, the world, and especially I would say Zionists in
Yeah, I only smoke amphetamines. Gosh, that's interesting. Like, again, instead of addressing any of the things that I'm saying, any of these blood libels that I'm saying, any of this anti-Semitism that I have, these friars come in here and they try to, it's an attack on you. They're hoping you're dumb enough to fall for their shit. It's just that simple. They're so stupid they can't actually address anything. So it's all about shoot the messenger. He had to do it in 11 stages because he would have taken my generous offer. Only offer he will ever or whatever. Yeah. This guy is trying to bribe me. Like let's just say he was legit and not just some piece of shit fake ass wannabe online, right? He's proven that he's a fucking wannabe. He's proven that he's a liar time and time again. He's also proven that he's a pedophile. But let's just say this guy was legit. This is how stupid they are, right? This is if you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel's stupidity. Nobody says, hey, don't look into my past. It makes me look bad. Unless, of course, they're horrible people. If you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel. Right, because everything you've done is awful. Right? And that's how stupid this piece of shit is. Like, if he was actually legit, and he's basically trying to bribe me. Why? If I'm wrong about what I'm saying, and I'm crazy, and I'm all these terrible things, why would you try to bribe me to stop doing it? What's the bribery about? I'm wrong. There's no need to bribe somebody that's wrong. You just let things happen. If I'm wrong, it'll show itself. Everybody will be like, oh, this guy's wrong and he's crazy. And they'll show it and that'll be that. Look at this shit. They should have been driving without this tire for miles. Fucking miles. Take your meds. Again, this is what they do. Take your meds. This guy, how is he going to justify Matitza Bupe? How is he going to justify soul correction, the Talmud, all of their bullshit? How is he going to justify when somebody doesn't think that Israel was founded in 1948? And, the first talks of it were the Balfour Declaration and all that. What's he going to do? He's going to cry and pretend like, that's blood libel.
Yeah, we're demanding that we all pay attention. And when we began to pay attention, we didn't like what we saw. You cannot tell me to ever feel comfortable with 18,000 children being ruthlessly murdered. You can't get me to feel comfortable as a Christian with the amount
As a Christian, of course, she's so fucking stupid.
Dropped, tons of explosives dropped on Gaza, then were dropped in Hiroshima. This doesn't make sense to me. Gaza is 30 miles long, 7 miles wide. It's incredibly dense population. And this is, by the way, according to Haaretz, that 40,000 Palestinians have been murdered. I believe they're getting those numbers from the Gaza.
That's so wrong. It's so many more than 40,000. It's like 600, 700,000 people. But this is,
health
they lie.
ministry. And here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture, okay? The one that's relevant to me is woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light
Oh,
and light for
shut up.
darkness.
Quoting
If
the,
you'd like to-
like, this is why this is so frustrating to me. This is why I have such a hard time with it. You never see me talking about Candace or anyone else like that. She's quoting the Friar fairy tale to a piece of shit rabbi who owns a fucking, you know, the porn. What? Leave him.
Dive into a little more scripture. I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley. The fact that you would try
Look
to
at
say
that
I am
snake.
Jewish, and this is what I believe, and
Ugh,
say
he's
the
so
things that you are doing.
gross.
People can see and hear evil, and what you
He's
are
so
doing right now
gross.
is an act of evil. The lies that you are telling, not just on me, but also on my family members, are a good example for the world to see what we are referring to when we call something radical Zionism.
Okay, Rabbi Shmuley. Okay, and
Okay,
and,
okay.
thank you. And of course, Pierce, there was nothing ad hominem about had hominem.
There's nothing ad hominem. I'm not using ad hominem. Gosh, it's weird. It's like the same shit I deal with.
Against one debate, I expected that.
It's not two against one debate.
And I
See that? He's victimizing himself.
And okay, thank you. And of course, Pierce, there was nothing ad hominem about had hominem being demonic. This is a two
what?
against one debate. I expected that.
There was nothing ad hominem, a hodidic, a demonic. What did he just say?
When we call something radical Zionism.
Look at Candace's face when he's talking.
And okay, thank you. And of course, Pierce, there was nothing ad hominem about had hominem being demonic. This is a two.
There was nothing ad hominem, had hominem, my being demonic. What? What? The fuck is this guy doing? Like, this is what's so funny, is like, this is one of the most prominent friar voices in the world. And this is what he does. Like, this just shows you the inbred stupidity that they all share. It makes them it makes them into the caricature. They are a joke. Anybody who sees this is gonna laugh at this piece of shit.
One debate, I expected that.
It's not two against one debate.
And I
Look at her face.
No, it's a two against one
You've
debate.
made no attempt to answer my question.
No, Pierce.
No. You quiet, Goyam. I'm talking now, Goyam. I said it's 2-on-1, okay? I said that's a 2-on-1 debate, Goyam. So you better let go with it. Piers Morgan is one of the most openly Christian Zionist piece of shits there are. Pierce proudly supports Israel. Like, the fact that Shmuley is pretending to be the victim here is just, it's all they can do. Seriously. Do you see this as any different than what this piece of shit Joe has to say?
Pierce, let me
Candace
speak.
has been trying to answer
Candace
my
just
question.
said,
You're not.
Candace just said, filth, demonic, there's nothing at you are correct.
She was reading the Bible. And it said, those that call themselves the friars but aren't, they are the synagogue of Satan. She never said anything about demonic ad hominem bullshit. Like, this is, he's just, it's what they do. They're just so programmed by their own shit. Like, he can't be like, make a reasonable argument, because there's no reasonable argument to be made or had. He's dumb as fuck. Understand, like, this guy is revered and shit, but he's fucking stupid. He's not smart. He has the money to be able to hire the right people in the right positions. But this guy has been, he's fucking stupid. And he's gonna absolutely prove it over and over again in this interview, because what can he say? He's going to just paint himself as the victim, then, try to paint it as mental illness and all these other, I haven't even seen this yet. So I don't actually know what's going to be said, but I know what's going to be said. I've dealt with this shit for so long. There's a point here, I watched the beginning part and thought, oh shit, I should watch this on the live. So I know what the beginning part says, and the beginning part is one of the issues that I have with so many people. Is Candace is going to point out that prior to October 7th, people were all like, oh, they're our greatest, and, blah, blah, blah bullshit. And I don't understand why people, before October 7th, the notion that they were the good guys. His talent show job.
You're right, Pierce.
Being the wannabe Simon.
Said that Israel dropped more bombs on Gaza than on Hiroshima. Hiroshima was an atomic bomb, Candace. Why don't you just read Wikipedia?
This guy is so dumb. He's so dumb. No, it's been, it's been confirmed numerous times that more explosives have been dropped on Gaza than what was dropped on Hiroshima. Even though it was an atomic bomb, he's pointing it out. It was an atomic, right. The equivalent and more of an atomic bomb was dropped on Gaza so far. That's how stupid these people are. Watch, Joe's going to prove it here. It must be your crazy war in your head, LOL. A battle between your last two brain cells rages on constantly. Shaking my head, it must be not an epic sight. Should be an epic sight, you fucking inbred moron. But yep, those last two brain cells keep catching you being stupid. So if I'm only working with two and I keep catching you and keep stumping you and keep stopping you, what does that say about you? I guess my two last brain cells are that much better than your millions of inbred brain cells. But again, you're somebody that thinks raping children is okay. So is anybody surprised by that? Keep that in mind. With everything that Shmuley has to say, he's okay with raping children. Got to be careful that they'll bust you for your messengers now. If you say something in Messenger to somebody else that they don't like. Oh, look. Pedophile Casey's here. Right, Pedo Casey? I mean, understand, Casey's a bot profile. The main reason why the majority of these, they don't... Look, if I'm wrong... Making the Guy Williams sucks video and showing how I'm wrong, I wouldn't even have to tell them to do it. They would do it. I'm wrong, so they would revel in the fact that I'm wrong. And hi, Tula. Hi. They would absolutely love it, and they would go with as much of it as they could. They would try to. The Guy Williams sucks videos would be, especially once I did point it out, this is what you should, they would be all over it. Especially with as arrogant and as stupid as they are. And the fact that not one of these fucking bitch-ass, cowardly, pedophile pieces of shit even attempts to make the video, even attempts to argue any of the points being made. It just shows you how stupid they are. And the fact that if you pay attention, like the Casey profile, it's the exact same number.
Next play Roblox.
You don't know what I'm doing. I'm screen recording all the songs that I want to hear.
No, dude, no.
Please, please, please.
No, this isn't. Are you cleaning?
I'm about to.
Okay, yeah, this is why I was like, no.
Please, okay, I'll stop.
Nope.
Please, Dad.
Dude, given the inch, you take the
I'm
mile.
trying to just record the song so I can
Why?
listen to them while I'm cleaning. Because
You couldn't look them up?
No, I have no idea what they say. If you go to the characters, they don't say what the songs are.
Okay,
that's why I was
so,
screen recording them.
yeah, you couldn't go
Didn't know what
to
they were.
YouTube and go Roblox music?
No,
Why?
because the JJ, it's in a game called JJ. Nate, can you please?
What is it? What's the game called?
JJS songs. But
JJS songs.
But
Okay.
they're from
Let's
custom movesets. Like if you don't know their names, and then they won't play the right
Oh,
songs.
well, then maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe you should be listening to something else, huh?
Nick, where's Doc?
Oh, here's a bunch.
Let me see. No,
Okay, well, it doesn't matter.
I'll just.
No, you're done.
Can I have one more chance, please? I won't. We're screen recording.
Okay, what are you gonna listen to? Let's put on what you're gonna listen to.
I'm gonna pick random songs.
No, that's exactly it. No. If you're gonna listen to something, then you put on something that's gonna play, so you don't have to keep stopping to find a new. No.
Okay, I'll just play a playset.
What are you gonna play?
Playlist. One that pops up.
What? What do you want to listen to?
The ones that they've made for me.
Who's made for?
Can you
Again?
please see?
No. Just do this. Look, this is exactly what you were looking for.
No,
JJS.
They're not the,
They're not what?
those aren't the ones.
How do you know?
Because the custom.
How do you know?
Because the songs are recording in custom movesets.
Okay, they're songs from the game.
Okay.
Just leave this on this.
Wait, I was gonna play the playlist that pops up.
What playlist pops up?
The one that comes up here. Look, the mixes that they made.
Okay, that. Don't change it. You gotta stop telling on your brother, dude.
But he's not supposed to be doing that.
Right. But you gotta stop telling on your brother for stupid shit. It's funny, you got these dumb pedos on here trying to tell me what I should do with my kids. Like, whatever you do with kids is the last thing anybody should do with kids. So, yeah, what you have to say absolutely doesn't matter. You're the worst kind of human, and I say that, with the quotation marks. Like, you're not really human. You're something different. And it's wrong. What? No. And where's the dog? Oh, where's she supposed to be? What? Okay, well, come get the dog, please. So you have tons and tons of other options. No. You can watch it later. Sorry. It's funny that you tell on your brother for doing stuff like that when you do that stuff all the time.
I am.
No, I catch you doing things you're not supposed to do all the time. Brothers. And if you don't do it, I'm going to beat you like I always do. I am. That's how you do it.
And okay, thank you. And of course, there was nothing ad hominem about my being demonic. This is a 2 against 1 debate.
It's a 2 against 1 debate.
And I will, excuse me, no, it's a 2 against 1
You've
debate.
made no attempt to answer my question.
No, Piers,
Candace
let me
has been trying to answer my question.
Candace, filth, demonic. There's nothing ad hominem about that. You are correct. You're
What?
right, Piers.
Filth? What is she even
Candace almost
talking
just
about?
said that
What is he
Israel
even
dropped
talking
more
about?
bombs on Gaza than on Hiroshima? Hiroshima was an atomic bomb, Candace. You know, why don't you just read Wikipedia? Israel has nuclear weapons.
Oh, so Wikipedia tells the truth about you guys?
They've never used them, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
He
Now,
can't
let's look
understand
at
an
Israel's
analogy?
justified defense. Israel admits, and even Hamas admits, to a 1-to-1 civilian to combatant ratio.
What is he
civilian
talking
casualties,
about?
Which is a tragedy. It shouldn't even be one. But remember, Hamas fires their rockets from nurseries. The
He
United
can't
States and
even
Afghanistan
say the
had a
things with
4-to-1
his eyes open.
of
When he's lying, he
civilians
closes
murdered
his
by
eyes.
combatant. In the
So-
Korean War, it was 5-to-1. In Iraq, it was at least 2-to-1. Israel has the lowest per capita ratio of combatants to civilians.
Look at the people flying the pedo flag.
Should acknowledge that. That is what we call a fact.
But you should
As far
also,
as
okay,
Candace
but hang on.
tries-
You should also acknowledge then that there is a unique demographic in Gaza where of the 2 million people who live there, half of them are under 18. So that's a very different demographic to any of the other scenarios you're talking about. That is what's caused so much international opprobrium against Israel, is the fact that so many children, pro rata in the civilian death count, have been killed. It's that people are so exercised about, and rightly,
fucking
because
crazy.
what's happened here is obvious. Hamas, yes, they've embedded themselves in civilian territory.
See,
Yes, they
as
built
long
all
as
these
you're
tunnels. None of
focused
these things-
on this war, distraction, bullshit, Hamas, and all that, you have a bad guy. You have a boogeyman, right? They're okay with these kinds of conversations. That's why they're everywhere. That's why you see these kinds of things happening, because basically it just comes down to Shmuley is just saying dumb shit. And you know, at the end of the day, all of our information comes from them to begin with, so it's all manipulated. And unfortunately, they've done a really good job here in the United States of making people either hate Arabs or at the very least not give a shit. Right? The fact that this involves so many children sort of touches on the idea of, like, they know that's the soft spot, that's the weakness. They know if they let too much focus go onto the children, what happens to children. You know, we aren't the type that stops, or that sees children suffering and goes, oh, well, those aren't my kids, so I don't care. Your average goyim has a sense of decency about them, and they won't, when it comes to children, they're not going to cross that line, right? And so these friars know that. And if they can keep the focus on the bombs, and then, well, they attacked us back. They started it. They resisted us taking them over from the beginning. And again, there's so much shit that happens. Like, we've been so desensitized to one group taking another group shit. That doesn't matter. The war is the distraction. Because if we weren't talking about the war, we'd be talking about their pedophile tendencies. Their pedophile foundations. No, my kids, you don't have kids. And you rape your own children. You guys rape children. Right? Like, it's this desperate attempt to, avoid the responsibility, avoid what's being said, trying to turn it back. Yep. The guy who makes it his life work to call out pedophiles and insist that we kill them, he's the bad guy. He's got to be the best. Not the troll that lives for me, that is assigned my page every day. And if you don't really understand what I mean by that, let me just give you a little refresher course here. This is one of the most important little bits of information that's available, and most people don't know it. Act.il is a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online, quote, anti-Israel content, such as the boycott, divestments, and sanctions. Its activities were referred to as, quote, an online propaganda campaign and, quote, a virtual situation room of pro-Israel experts. Act.il directed its users to, quote, missions to like, comment on, and share pro-Israel material on social media. It also asked users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Israel. Now, pay attention to the wording here. Users were guided how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points. Again, directed their users to missions. And when I actually looked at the page up, it's like a whole different thing, right? It's a whole different thing. These two friars think the USA and Israel are the good guys. Well, that's because they're stupid, right? They're fucking stupid. Listen, if they weren't stupid, they would be addressing what I'm saying. They'd be telling me what I'm saying is wrong and why what I'm saying is wrong and all that shit. It's fucking nuts. Remember, none of these guys are sitting on some great argument and they're just waiting to drop it. They don't have one. The app also provided users with ready-made memes promoting Israel's perspective for them to share. By completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, and badges are stripes. I mistakenly said they were prizes, and actually, they are prizes. Because there was a part in there where they did talk about them actually getting prizes, like a doll and some other shit. Had their scores displayed on leaderboards. According to Plus 972, Act.il was the centerpiece of the digital campaign For IL, or For Israel, announced in 2017 by Gilad Erdan, then Minister of Strategic Affairs, for the promotion of Israel and the delegitimization of boycott, divestments, and sanctions. BDS. The Act.il app would assign users missions to challenge social media posts it considered to be critical of Israel or in favor of the BDS movement. Erdan called it an iron dome of truth. Look at this shit, right? Look at this shit. Exactly. What's not true? What am I saying that's not true? What am I saying that isn't true here? Look at this fucker. Look at this. This guy's talking about, I need rehab. I'm sick. All these things. I'm sick because I don't agree with friars secretly attacking people online and getting paid to do so. I don't agree with pedophile stuff and all your pedophile rituals. That makes me sick. That's what the book says. What are you talking about? See, again, I try to give them the voice, right? I try to give them a voice and let them say what they need to say and what? Uh-huh. Read their shit, I give them the opportunity to make some sort of difference here, and they just keep proving it. Friars live a life of poverty. Maybe those friars do. But we're not talking about those friars, are we? We're talking about F-R-E-I-E-R-S. Friars. Belch. But you should know that by now. Weird that you would bring it up but not actually know what it is. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. Act.io was a joint project of the private Israeli university, IDC Herzliya, and the U.S.-based Israeli American Council. The Maccabee Task Force, one of Sheldon Adelson's foundations, is a major funder of Act.io. The organization, oh shit. The organization behind Act.io is staffed by former intelligence officers and has a collegial relationship with the Israeli intelligence community. It has a close relationship with the Minister of Strategic Affairs, which combats the BDS movement, which it views as a threat. It used to end with, according to Mendo Weiss, an email sent in March 2022 to the app's users announced that the app will be shut down, but that users should continue to interact with Act.io's content on its other social media platforms. About 8 weeks ago, they changed it, and it now says the app was relaunched in early 2006 under the name Rise App, with the former Act.io owners partnering with Reichman University for the release and also transferring the former Act.io user base, 40,000 plus, to the new service. Take those down. I'll take those down when I'm done. $40,000, and this is so you like, you know, Team Jorge is capable of creating as many as 30,000 bots, avatars, at any given time. But to think that they have a user base of 40,000 inbred fucking friar morons, you know, radical fucking, you know, friars with no do. It's not like they work.
This is a good. Oh, that's the old one.
And it's not, I'll take those down when I'm done. It's not like they have anything else going on, so they have all this time to sit and at these media centers that they create, and they run these things 24 hours a day. And these people get paid with acknowledgement, basically. Like they get led into higher, you know, higher ladders of the higher rungs on the ladder, but that's about it. Nope, still a typo. F-R-E-I-E, wait, F-R-E-I-E-R-S. All you got to do is look it up. This fucking page.
I built my career auditing for quality and efficiency.
Perry Johnson.
We operate in 57
Perry?
countries around
Territory. Yes, they built all these tunnels. None of these things are to be disputed.
Yes, they are.
We're going after Hamas. And
Absolutely, they are to be disputed. Hamas built all these tunnels. Where? Still haven't seen any of these tunnels that they talk about all the time.
Israel has been doing is that the collateral damage, as they would put it, to so many thousands of children has now tested the patience of the world.
See, Piers is making this about him. He should be letting Candace talk, but instead, you know, it's all about Piers, and that way he can control what's said.
Are against it and want this to stop. That's the reality.
But let's remember, Pierce, your parents are part of the greatest generation. Winston Churchill was told by the Americans, don't bomb German cities, Hamburg, Dresden, etc. At night. You can't see what you're bombing. Do what we Americans have, which is precision daytime bombing. And Churchill said, no, my pilots are more important. We need the RAF. All right. And he
What are you talking about?
And he is considered today the greatest British statesman of the 20th century.
By the way, the flattening of cities like Dresden was widely condemned at the time, including by many people in Britain, and led to the establishment of the Geneva
Well,
Convention.
Dresden was the last month of the war, but before that, everything else was okay.
It led to the establishment of the Geneva Convention after World War II, specifically to stop that kind of thing happening again. So I'm glad you raised that example. Candice, you got over 3 minutes.
So do you condemn Winston Churchill as a war criminal for Dresden?
No, absolutely not.
Jesus Christ.
Why not? You just
Of
said
course,
it.
they're all war criminals.
Winston Churchill as a war criminal for Dresden. Please, you said not, but
If you're
why?
both going to ask me the same question, then let me be clear. Winston Churchill was not a war criminal, right?
Yes, he was.
Some of the ways that
Why not?
he
He bombed Dresden and killed 25,000 people.
yeah, he also saved the world from Adolf Hitler and the Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
He saved the world. So Israel's saving the Middle East from Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Iran.
But it's not, though.
Hezbollah.
Israel's not doing that.
Thank you for answering my question. Case closed.
All right, let me go.
What a fucking moron. Do you understand? Like, this is exactly what ignorant people who don't act, who know they're wrong. This is how they argue. This guy is a a poster child for the insanity that they bring to the table. And for anybody, if you ever, wondering like what does it look like when somebody is wrong, they know they're wrong, but they're too much of a piece of shit to actually, acknowledge what they're wrong about. And really, they're proud of it. You have to remember that. Like, he's proud to be the piece of shit he is. It's just that simple. These are monsters. And they do everything they can to stop you from talking about this. Did you guys see the bullshit with Dan Bilzerian on TMZ? Like, the fact that Dan... I was asking you guys, like, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, what happened to Dan Bilzerian? Do you remember that? Like, why is... he's been surprisingly quiet. I bet he's gearing up for something. They're gearing up to bring him in. Dan Bilzerian is a fucking dumbass. Right? The only monsters is you. I'm multiple monsters. Again, this guy is calling me a monster because I want to eradicate a pedophile genocidal cult. Right? He's an identified cult member. And as every single identified cult member ever does or says, he's not actually going to, denounce any of these horrible things or even acknowledge these horrible things. And he's going to attack the person bringing it up. Because hominic, demonic. What a fucking stupid ass, right?
Just to respond to that,
Look at his face.
I was going to say exactly what you said, Piers. Like, Dresden was considered a Holocaust. It was, in fact, a war crime. And there should be debates about what happened in Dresden. It was absolutely horrific that a bunch of Christians were skipping off,
Christians, why does it you have two false, fake-ass ideologies squaring off here when one of the ideologies is the dad and one of them's the son. I mean, it's just so stupid. Don't be surprised if you end up in jail again. Yeah? For what? End up in jail for false bullshit that ends up getting dropped and nothing bad happens? Yeah, okay. Don't be surprised if you end up, well, you know what's going to happen when when we remove the Fry control scheme, right? You guys won't have long. And people like you, like the good thing about these feeds is all of these profiles can be tracked. We can know who the pedophiles are. Even if they don't, they're not well known. Just go look up this doofus. They'll all be, and he's a liar. Remember he said yesterday that he was going to turn around. Now he's saying he's still in Detroit. I thought you turned around, doofus.
Eve of Ash Wednesday, and then they were quite literally reduced to ashes. It is wrong. And the fact that you are having to reference a war crime to justify what's happening in Gaza is not a point for you. It's completely awful. When people say, oh, well, look at what we did. Look at all these other horrific things we did. Why do you care about this horrible thing that's happening? I don't even understand that logic.
That's what they do all the time. Literally. They have like a few different things that they say. One is, well, what about them? They're doing it, or they did something. What about what they're doing? Right? That's one. Obviously, there's we're God's chosen people one. There's you can't say that. That's blood libel. You're not allowed to say those words. You don't have free speech or thought. So you're not allowed to say, like, this is what they do. And you're only going to see, Shmuley's only going to, he's probably going to play all of the hits. But the other one that they'll play is, well, if you're not here, you can't know what it's about. But he wouldn't say that to Candace, because Candace has been there enough. Zionism is the distraction. Again, Zionism is just the word that they give you so you don't say it's friars. Yeah. If they give you something else to say, that's what you'll say. And they say, you can't say this version, but you can say that. And then they all they do is cry about how anytime somebody says Zionist, they're really talking about friars. Well, they're letting you know. That's the truth. There is no distinction between Zionism and friars. And those friars that pretend like they're anti-Zionist, but they still live in Israel, they still support Israel. But again, the funniest thing about this whole thing, especially with pedophiles like Joe, is I keep saying that my main goal at this point is to protect the Jewish children. I think the most important thing that we can do as a society right now is to protect the Jewish children. They need to be the priority. Jewish children need to be the priority. How come they're not rallying around me? Like, you would think that would be the, oh, huzzah! The Goyim is talking about protecting our children. Yay! Like, that's what you would think it would be. By the way, if you're watching, like, share, sub. More people need to hear that we need to protect the Jewish children. I don't understand why that would be a problem for anyone.
Completely ridiculous. Look, there is no person in good conscience who should be comfortable with the amount of death that's happening in Gaza. And yes, if you are going to correlate it to Dresden, that would be a fair comparison, except much more has been dropped on Gaza than was dropped in Dresden. So is it fair to call what's happening in Gaza a Holocaust? Is that what we're looking after when you have this nonstop onslaught? And it's completely ridiculous to say, oh, well, this is happening because of Hamas. Let's be very clear. It is happening because the Israeli government will not stop bombing them, okay? So you had a very sympathetic audience all around the world, myself included, when October 7th happened.
Why were you sympathetic? See, that's how you know she's shit. She is a plant. She is working for the system and saying what she's paid to say. A very sympathetic year prior to October 7th, or including October 7th. Because they were attacked. Oh, they were attacked. No Israelis died or were taken hostage on October 7th, other than the ones that were victims of the Hannibal Directive. You know, notice how the whole hostages thing has completely disappeared. Nobody talks about it. Nobody interviews them. There's literally nothing to make you believe that the hostage situation actually happened. Nothing. It's all been just erased. And for the longest, you have to remember, for the longest time, that's what they were saying was the justification for what they were doing. Was the fact that there were supposedly hostages that they didn't know where they were, but they were just bombing indiscriminately. October 7th is amazing. It's amazing. Right? October 7th is if it was real and it was actually like, holy shit, somebody's finally standing up, that would be amazing. But it's fake. It's a fake narrative from the beginning. It's just dumb. It's dumb. You know, the greatest military in that region just failed that day. They just failed. And really, you know, the reality is the Wikipedia page for the October 7th attack was made 8 minutes before the attack started. And the attack, of course, 6:30 a.m. The page was made at 6:22 a.m. October 7th. 8 minutes before the thing was supposed to have started. Right there, you understand it's a lie. They're lying to you. You know, the claim was that Hamas launched 5,000 rockets in the first 20 minutes. There's no footage of it. And of course, Israel was able to shoot down 99% of the rockets. 5,000 rockets in 20 minutes is 4 rockets per second. Where did they get that? Where did they get that arsenal from? Where did they get the rocket launchers from? How much did all that cost? How many rocket launchers do you need to be able to launch 4 every second for 20 minutes? How do you know? Because I do research. I don't just listen to what people say. So back on November 7th, a month after the event, you can find the video on here actually. November 7th, 2023, I had a hunch. Because I had already known that they did this. They did this with the Russian unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. That page was made the day before. There are multiple instances throughout history. Lots of the Handy Sook ones. You know, the donation pages and all that were made the day before. So I just had the feeling. And back then, funny how they changed it up after this. It had been this way forever, and then after I made this video, it changed. But you used to be able to go to Wikipedia, click edit history, then click back, and get to the first edit made on the page eventually. Now it's so much more difficult. But on November 7th, 2023, I did that. And I went all the way back to the first edit. And the first edit on the page was made at 6:22 a.m. The attack was said to have started at 6:30 a.m. And that's the first edit made. I don't actually know when the page was made, but the first edit made to the page was made 8 minutes beforehand. And then I sat there and I read the next 3 hours worth of edits that were made to the page. And it was unbelievable. It was like there was a 5-man crew that was responsible for the narrative. And they were laying out all kinds of shit that would happen later, or the information would come out later. You know, as much as a week later. You know, they claim that immediately Israel killed 1,500 Hamas inside the Israeli borders. So when the claims then come out that around 1,100 people in Israel were killed on October 7th, they're telling you the truth. You just think they mean Israelis. But if it was Israelis that were killed, they would say so. They would highlight it. They would say, oh my gosh, 1,100 Israelis were killed. Poor, beautiful, God-fearing friars who are the best people in the world were killed. They didn't do that. And there would have been, a huge amount of funerals in the next 3 days. The funerals would have just been off the fucking charts. And instead, they didn't. And that page said, again, that page laid out the 5,000 rockets in 20 minutes. You know, they talked about all kinds of goofy shit. Netanyahu says he's going to do this and that. Like, it was fucking wild. And I only read the first 3 hours. But again, it was like one person would lay the foundation, another person would come edit it, another person would come check the spelling, another person would add things to it, and another person would rearrange things. And it was these five or so people that had access to be able to edit. Because when I tried to edit the page, it said that I had to have at least like 80 proven edits made before this. An edit history of a huge edit history. Which my profile would then be presented to a group. And if that group approved me, it would kick to a higher group. And if that group approved me, I'd be able to edit the page. I'd never seen anything like it. And like I say, you can go find the video of it, November 7th. What do you mean I'm not allowed to have firearms? What are you, stupid? See what I mean? You see what I mean? Like this dumb friar keeps proving how stupid they are. How come he doesn't address what I'm saying? How come he doesn't address any of the points being made and just keeps making up dumb shit if I'm wrong? Why is he here? Day after fucking day begging for attention for hours. He will spend, as long as I'm here, he'll be here every single day. Because I'm wrong? Because he hates me so much? Is that how that works? Is that what you do, Carrie? You spend large portions of your life begging for attention from people that you hate? I can prove everything I say. Can you?
Audience all around the world, myself included, when October 7th happened, there's not a single person that should or could justify the terrorist act that was enacted by Hamas.
What do you see what I mean? See what I mean? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. This is exactly what I'm saying, right? Like, why do you think Candace is given such a platform? Right? Allowed? A-L-O-U-D? That's how you spell allowed? You can't even blame that one on the computer. The computer is not going to make that mistake because that's not a word. A-L-O-U-D. See what I mean? These inbred fucking morons. when English isn't your first language, you struggle like that. ALOUD. What a dumbass. Again, the reason why he's going this way is because what I say affects them. It hurts them. It hurts their image. So, nothing else they say works against me. So they're trying the thing that hurts them, but they don't realize, again, inbred stupidity. They don't realize how stupid it makes them look. The Old Testament says to God, the Old Testament God says to Abraham, you are my seed, implying one seed singular as the chosen people. That singular was Jesus as the chosen one, not all Jews plural. What are you talking about? You don't even know what Zionism is, Carrie. Sorry, you're biblical. For somebody that's such a Christian, you don't really understand it very well. Like it's crazy. Zionism is an ethno-cultural nationalist movement that emerged in the late 19th century Europe to establish and support a friar homeland through colonization in the region of Palestine, which roughly corresponds with the land of Israel, and friarism itself central to themish religion or history. Zionists wanted to create a friar state in Palestine with as much land, as many friars, and as few Palestinian Arabs as possible. That's their words, not, that's them saying that. There's no way around that. Right? And the shit that God's like, first of all, his name was Abram. His name was Abram, and he was married to Sarai, who was his sister. His fucking sister. His sister. The father and mother of the friar people were brother and sister. But God says to Abram, hey, I'm going to call you Abraham from now on. And your wife, she'll be now called Sarah. And you guys are going to give birth to a kid, and his name was going to be Ishmael. And now Abraham was like, wait, but she's like 90 and so am I. We can't have kids. We're too old for that. And God's like, don't worry, you will. And that's that. Like what the Carries of the world don't seem to understand is the entire Bible is a friar fairy tale. It doesn't stand up to historical scrutiny. Right? It doesn't stand up to any sort of historical account. None of it's real. And if you look at it, it's about manipulating you today. It has nothing to do with the past. It's just a fake story. But the story is multiple times you hear about one of these friars is able to build one of the God phones. And they're the only ones that are able to build those God phones. Nobody else can build them. And nobody ever witnesses this shit. These guys go off in the middle of nowhere and they build a God phone, and then God talks to him, and God usually says something like, okay, well, all of the land from here to there is yours. And everything in it. And then they go and they tell hey, I just made a God phone out in the middle of the country. Nobody saw it or anything. But God said that all of this land is mine. So I'm going to live in that big house over there. You got to get out. And all of you now owe me tax money and shit. What's yours is now mine. God takes from the Christians, from the Goyim, and gives to the friar. And everybody was like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, okay, you say so. If you say you talk to God, I don't see why you would lie about it. And that's what they're doing right now, right? That's what they're doing right now. They're taking from you to give to this shit. Crashing out since your failed bribe. Yeah, he doesn't like that, does he? The bribes usually work. I didn't fail, LOL. This guy failed to make the right decision. Right. Side with the pedophiles. And again, why would anybody believe what this piece of shit says? He's lied he's been caught lying like 5 or 6 times. He just lies. So why would anybody believe this guy has any power or wealth or anything? He doesn't. He's just some dumb piece of shit. He's a pedophile. He's probably a bot. But more than likely he's a piece of shit friar. This guy had more than enough opportunities to prove his legitimacy, and he doesn't do it. And then he wonders why. But I'm chosen. You're just supposed to listen to whatever I say and believe me at all times. I built a God phone. He's fucking dumb, man. He's just dumb. Wasn't she his? Yeah, she was his fucking sister. His fucking sister. F-R-E-I-E-R. And the whole, like, the thing is, Christians believe that Abraham is the father of all religious people. Friars believe that he's the father of the friar people. And Muslims believe that he's a high-ranking prophet. That's why they're all three called the Abrahamic religions. And if you're dumb enough to argue, like, I'm a Christian, I don't like Muslims, it's the same goddamn story. Islam's pretty fucked up, though, too. I do have to give that, you know. But what's worse? You know, Mary would have given birth to Jesus at probably 13. 13, maybe 14. At the latest, she'd have been 14. She was a child. Not as much as Muhammad and his favorite wife, Alicia, who was 6 years old when she started to be groomed to be one of his many wives, and 9 years old when the 50-year-old man consummated the marriage with her. And she was his favorite wife. You know how fucked up that shit is? And it's all based on the same totally bullshit narrative. And this is where it's like, Carrie, don't you understand? Like, it's fake. That's why you need to have faith in it. Because it's fake. If it was fake, if it was real, you wouldn't need to have just faith in stupid shit. Here, again, it all comes down to Exodus, right? Without Exodus, none of it exists. None of it. And the thing is, outside of the Bible, Exodus isn't talked about in the historical account. The historical record doesn't talk about, none of the Egyptians don't talk about the 2 million Jews that were slaves that were, escaped and went to, they don't talk about that shit. The Exodus, departure from Egypt, is the founding myth. It's literally right off the bat. It's the founding myth of the Israelites, whose narrative is spread over 4 of the 5 books of the Pentateuch: Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The narrative describes a history of Egyptian bondage of the Israelites, followed by their exodus from Egypt through a passage in the Red Sea in pursuit of the promised land under the leadership of Moses. Look at this painting from 1829, depicting that time. They don't even think about it, but like, what was this time frame doing to build buildings like that? You think we could build that today? I offered you a paid trip to Tel Aviv and 50 G's with 5 G's up front. LOL, but you lied and all of a sudden don't want to go. I just want to take the money. LOL, he's coward. Right. Suddenly I didn't want to go. Did I ever agree to your shit? No one ever believed you from the beginning because you're a lying piece of shit friar. All you had to do was make the Guy Williams Sucks video, but you won't do that. And again, you're such a big baller, even if I didn't come and I just took that $5,000, what would you care? $5,000 to you, you're a baller. It's my money anyway. It's stolen from us anyway. What do you care? You could have bought all the credibility in the world, and instead you proved what a piece of shit you are, on top of already proving what a pedophile piece of shit you are. The Old Testament, in ways, is prophecy for the New Testament. Well, I mean, if you're talking about Jesus, because Jesus was a Jew from the Davidic line in the Old Testament. Old Testament, the Davidic line, the people of David. Jesus was the prophecy, and supposedly came true, even though the Jews don't think so. The story of Exodus is central in friarism. It is recounted daily in friar prayers and celebrated in festivals such as Passover. Passover just happened, didn't it? That's why there was so much death. Oh. Did you just hear about Israel? Holy shit, man. Begins on the evening of Wednesday, April 1st, and ends after nightfall on Thursday, April 10th. That was yesterday, or April 9th. In 10 minutes, 100 airstrikes. Israel rejects ceasefire for Lebanon. So on the second to last day, no, on the last day, on the last day, on the 9th, is this the 9th? Yes. On the last day of Passover, holy shit. Do you guys remember early in the year when I told you that Passover was going to be significant? That they were going to do something pretty fucked up during Passover? Because they have to spill a shit ton of blood during Passover. That's what Passover is. Passover is the blood ritual. It's the slaughtering of the goat, the baby goat or baby lamb or whatever. Yeah, slaughtering of the lamb, and then smearing blood over your doorstep or on the door frame, so that the angel of death passes over you as he's going around, as he's going by and killing all of the firstborn male children of Israel. Of Egypt. Something that, again, Egypt doesn't account for, right? But Passover is all about spilling as much Goyim blood as they possibly can during that time. And I can't be the only one making these connections. As a matter of fact, I know I'm not. I'm just the most censored about it, I guess. But I mean, you can look back on Passover every year, and it's generally like one of the bloodiest times of the year every single year. One of the main reasons being because June is Pride Month, and we all forget everything during Pride Month, and I hate the gays. Sweetheart, do you hear that Israel in 10 minutes dropped 100 strikes on Lebanon? Yeah, it was the last day of Passover. Go figure, huh? Very, very holy, she says. Metaphor for Jesus to come, the slain lamb. See, you don't know what you're talking about. No, that's not it. It's not. It's about bringing the plagues to Egypt for the because of what they for imprisoning the Jews and all that, and with their escape. It's literally about the angel of death is going to kill all of the firstborns of Egypt because they had been trying to get out of Egypt, and they keep trying, and those Egyptian pharaohs just won't let it happen. So as a punishment to the pharaoh, God's like, I'm going to kill the firstborn male children because that'll do it. No, he's just dumb. Yes, the blood of the lamb over the doorstep became the blood of Christ slain. No, it didn't. No, this is a different story. Like, seriously. Like, it's really concerning that someone as religious as you has such a non, canonical belief about you. Like, this is what the fucking story says. This is a completely different narrative. This has nothing to do with Jesus. This is about Exodus. And this led to the Jews then leaving Egypt. And, of course, the Red Sea parts, the parting of the Red Sea, and they escape across. And then while they're escaping, the Egyptians finally catch up. And as they all get into the big, because they're like, hey, the waters are parted. Let's cross. That makes sense. They supposedly get the water fall on them, but there's no evidence of that. There's no chariots at the bottom of the Red Sea or anything. It's all just stupid. And then once they go through the Red Sea and now they escape into the desert's about the size of New Jersey. Literally, if they would have just held hands, it was at least 2 million, maybe even 3 million. It was 600,000 men. 600,000 men, their wives, and their children. And we know these fucking pieces of shit have children. They like popping those fuckers out, man. 10, 15. So, if you're talking about 600,000 men, say 500,000 women. Not all of them were married, sure, whatever. You're still at 1 million. If each one of them had one kid, which if they had 2 kids, it would be 2 million. If it's 3 kids, it's between 2 and 3 million people. We're supposedly wandering the desert for 40 fucking years. Like, to be proud of that narrative just shows you how stupid you are. Look at the Tartarian buildings all over the place. No, Carrie, you're just mistaken here. I know because I literally read this shit all the time. As much as I hate it, I read it. I want to know what I'm fucking up against. I want to know thy enemy. And so I does. Well, we should finish this. I have such a hard time finishing this because I look at it like it's a fucking play. Morning, Matt. What's happening? Candace talking about how sympathetic and how nobody could have ever even disagreed with the fact that the atrocities that happened on October 7th, a Hamas orchestrated terrorist attack, yada, yada, yada. Fuck you, Candace. Fuck you. I mean, that was enacted by Hamas, but the collective punishment that is being assigned to the Gazans, the Palestinians living in Gaza, is
also unacceptable, and the entire world should condemn it, and it should be made to stop. And I do believe that a radical fringe has taken hold of Israel. And
why does she say Israel? Why does she say that all the
time? We are
time?
not even allowed to critique Israel without having people like Rabbi Shmuley, which I never said he threatened to murder me, but he has threatened me for 2 years, essentially trying to bully people into their belief that they have a right.
You never said that I threatened to murder you? We're going to post.
No, I never said that you threatened to murder me. Don't cut me off. I did not cut you off.
Okay, I will not cut you off. Go ahead,
I did not cut you off. Okay. The point is that now what's happening across America is that you have Zionist organizations that are threatening and bullying people because people are taking a stance against this act against humanity. What they're doing is inhumane in Palestine. And so what they're doing is they're saying this person should get fired. This person should lose their job. The Zionist Federation
get fired and lose your job. Those are the same thing.
Just asked for me to have my visa banned simply because I don't support what Israel is doing.
Israel.
And if that is what I have to pay, if ultimately what happens, I get my visa banned because Zionism has a lot of money in media, so be it. It's less of a price than the children in Gaza are paying right now. And as a Christian, I will never support what Bibi Netanyahu is doing.
Christian. As a Christian. May I respond? May I respond? Come on, may I respond?
It's not just people outside Israel who are now heavily criticizing Netanyahu and his government. It is people inside Israel in massive numbers. And so my question to you is...
Because they're adaptable. That's the only reason they're doing it, is because they see that they're losing. They see that they're losing and they're trying to, play both sides. And because they're losing, they want to make it seem like, oh yes, we've been opposed to this the whole time. Really? Where have you been? Why are you in Israel if you're opposed to what's going on? Because Israel should not exist. That's right. Say Palestine, have Israel and Palestine be separate. See what I mean? Like, you're just insane. What are you talking about? Like, I guarantee you, Carrie, don't believe that if Native Americans show up to your family property and go, hey, this used to be ours, you guys can have, 10% of it. You guys would be like, okay, well, we want to do the right thing and blah, blah, blah. No, you wouldn't give up any of your land for anyone that just came up and was like, well, this is ours. It was promised a long time ago. The God that we made up, the Bible that we created with the God that we made up said that this is ours and you have to abide by it. Right? You wouldn't go with that. I guarantee if Canada tried to take the UP, you would be all about the United States fucking Canada up. Right? I mean, it should be part of Canada. If you look at the map, why would it be part of the United States? But it is. There shouldn't be separate. Israel should not exist. They don't have a right to anything. That whole, Israel has a right to... No, it doesn't. What? Who gave it that right? Does everybody else have that right? Palestine is separate from Israel. What are you even talking about, girly? Like, seriously, Carrie, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And it makes you sound really bad. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. There is no such thing as Israel. Israel is just it's a fucking figment of the imagination. They tell you the lines like Israel is from here to here, and that's what you believe. They're now trying to bring about the Greater Israel Project, which is huge, which takes so many people's land. Yeah, Saturday is their day. So when you hear nonsense stories like the Tree of Life shooting, and there being 3 different services with 4 people in them each. This one had 10 people practicing on Sunday. You know it's bullshit. It's all just fake. It was the Friars' original land. Says who? See, again, this is so again, are you okay with the Native Americans just coming and kicking white people out of everywhere? Let's see how consistent you are in your thinking there, Carrie. First of all, you only think it was their land because you're told it was. It's the dumbest thing. Why did they leave? Why did they leave their land? I mean, again, it's like, you don't even know your own Bible and you're a Christian, like, super Christian. Catholic, actually, super Catholic. And you don't even know your Bible. Now you're going to try to talk about historical geography and shit. You don't know what you're talking about. Are Christians, Muslims, and Jews live in Israel today? Yeah, lots of Christians live in Palestine, just like Lebanon is full of Christians. Are you demanding that Israel stop killing all those Christians in Lebanon? Now I literally need a straitjacket and a padded room. Again, isn't it strange how the friar can only keep making the same sort of dumb statements? And they're all based on me knowing the historical account. Well, nothing I'm saying isn't true. If anything I said wasn't true, he'd be on top of it. He's going to misplain the Bible. Oh yeah, mansplain the Bible. Yeah, I'm trying to look at that. Now he's trying to attack you, Carrie, because he can't, it doesn't work on me. There's no mansplaining it. It's what the Bible says. Obviously, you don't know it. Right? But look at this desperation. How come this guy doesn't just address the Matitza? How come this guy doesn't just address the Talmud? Why is he such a fucking coward that he keeps trying to find everything else to talk about? Because he's a pedophile. These are pedophiles. Like I say, the genocide, the genocidal tendencies and all that, it's actually secondary. What they do to their own children is beyond reproach. And you guys just don't understand it. And you get this kind of bullshit to distract you.
Why? Why are so many people inside Israel taking to the street?
I don't even care. Like, I can't even continue with this. This is just propaganda bullshit. Candace gets paid very well. Candace gets paid very well. So, because you guys don't know, right? Don't pretend like you even read the Talmud. I don't pretend like I read the Talmud, you dumb fuck. But what about the part where the Talmud says that if a goyim rapes a child, then they should be killed? But if a friar rapes a child, as long as the child is 3 years and 1 day or older, then they are required to pay the full dowry to the parents, which could be, 50 shekels, 100 dinars. It's not very much money. And once that the dowry is paid, the victim now belongs to their rapist as a somewhere between slave and wife. And if the child is under 3 years and 1 day old, it doesn't really matter. It's considered a poke in the eye. What about that part? It's easy to cherry pick things out of anything. That's what this guy just said. His response is that I'm just cherry picking something. Well, what about what it says? What about that part, right? Guy hates your religion, Carrie. He's desperate. I do hate your religion. Read what you sent me on Zionism. What did you... I know what Zionism is. You don't. So, just so people understand what we're dealing with, right? Bottom of darkness, Israel Hayom. Israel Hayom is, again, one of Sheldon Adelson's things. The Adelsons are why Trump is president. The Adelsons gave hundreds of millions of dollars to the Trump presidency. They're the number one donors. They're the reason why he moved the capital to Jerusalem. He said so. They're the reason why he took the Golan Heights. He said so. Miriam Adelson is one of the Trump's biggest controllers. Yep, yeah. What part's a lie now? See, again, now you just say dumb shit. That's a lie. What part's a lie? Come on, dumbass. Keep up. I hope everybody sees just how pathetic these piece of shit friars are. When there's no IDF soldiers standing there ready to shoot somebody, they're nothing. When the victim isn't a woman or a child, they're nothing. They're fucking cowardly pieces of shit. It's what they do. But Israel Hayom is Israel's number one free weekly paper. Here, I'll show you real quick. Just in case people are confused. Israel Hayom is an Israeli Hebrew language free daily newspaper distributed for free around Israel. It is the country's most widely distributed newspaper. Owned by the family of Sheldon Adelson, the casino mogul and political donor, Israel Hayom has been noted for its right-wing editorial stance and coverage of Israeli politics, often sparking debates about its political alignment. All right? So there's that. Now let's continue kicking ass, right? Here you go.
That they kept promising. I never understood it until I got there. There was a lot of pressure put on these presidents. It was put on me too, but I didn't yield to the pressure. But every president for decades said,
"Oh, I absolutely hate your fucking religion, Kerry. Absolutely, I hate it. I hate that they make good people like you into dumb goyim slaves. 100%.
We're going to do it. The difference is I kept my promise and officially recognized the capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem."
Oh, let's stand up. All these people stand up. Let's pan on over to the bosses. Oh, look, there's Kushner standing up.
Right, Miriam?
Kushner is the big boss.
Miriam, she's back there. Stand up, Miriam. Stand up.
She's so gross. She's so gross.
Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I could think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got $60 billion in the bank. $60 billion, and I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it. And they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was a very aggressive, very supportive of me. And he'd call up, "Can I come over and see you?" I say, "Sheldon, I'm the president of the United States." It doesn't work that way. He'd come in, but they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen.
It's one of the greatest things to ever happen. Probably one of the greatest things to ever happen.
Stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country.
Look at Trump standing in front of the Israeli flag like he's the president.
She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, "So Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel?" She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you.
Look at his face. Like, what the fuck is he doing? What is he doing?
She's a wonderful woman. She is a great woman. I know that. They kept promising.
Do you guys see that shit? This creature is a danger. Yup, I am an absolute danger to you pedophile fucking monsters because of the hate I have in my heart. Yes, sir. I hate you with every fabric of my being. I hate you. I see you pieces of shit walking down the street and I yell things at you all the time. If I could spit in your fucking face, I would. I hate you pieces of shit. If I had an opportunity to blast Netanyahu in the face, I fucking would. If there was an opportunity where, you know, I got to meet him or whatever, and I could fake my way into meeting him just so I could blast him in the face, I fucking would. Boom! As hard as I could. Right in the fucking face. Especially Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich. These guys are monsters. These are like the worst war criminals, you know, pedophile. Can you imagine the poor children that slimy piece of shit Ben-Gvir has destroyed? And you know he's like mean and just, oh, he's such an awful, awful human being. I hate even saying that. I hate calling him a human. I hate, you know, even hinting at the idea that we're the same. We're the same fucking species of creature on this planet. Like, it's fucking crazy. Oh, look, we have another one. There's another pedophile that just showed up. Another pedophile. Do you guys honestly think these guys are just happening on my page? Like, think about it. These guys don't just happen to cross my page. They are sent here. Obviously, Joey's getting his ass kicked and he's really looking bad, so they send in Patty to try to make it, I guess, worse. I don't even know, because we already know from his history, this guy's a fucking piece of shit. He's a pedophile. I mean, again, I just, what do you expect from pedophiles? Do you expect them to be like witty and charming and intelligent and all? No. They're disgusting. They don't shower. They're fucking gross. These are the grossest people you'll ever, that's why they stink. They're fucking gross. Israel Hayom. We did that. We showed you. Israel Hayom, owned by the Adelsons, started by Sheldon. That was his baby. So this is Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness, right? This is an article written by them, right? And you know what we do here, because there's so much to read here, but you can see that the article exists. Multiple women recount organized abuse and ritual ceremonies conducted by people they knew, even close family members, after months of interviews with victims, with their families, and treatment professionals, and experts in Israel and abroad. A disturbing picture emerges with descriptions difficult to read, right? So there's a lot to read there, but I can do this a lot easier. Ready? Can you tell me about Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness? Oh, you're gross. Yeah, you're disgusting pieces of shit. You don't shower. Never mind that last part. Tell me about Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness.
Israel Hayom is Israel's biggest free daily newspaper, started in 2007 by Sheldon Adelson's family. It's right-wing, very pro-Netanyahu, and basically a counterweight to left-leaning papers like Haaretz. Bottom of Darkness is an investigative piece they ran last year, April 2025. It's a heavy report on women describing organized ritual sexual abuse of kids in religious communities, ultra-Orthodox, Zionist, even some secular. They talk about group ceremonies with prayers, biblical reenactments like the binding of Isaac, objects used, family members involved, the whole nightmare. The article warns it's disturbing and uses fake names. Yeah, that other stuff you said first, I just ignored it. You good?
Shut up. I'm talking about Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness. Go into it more. Talk about the rituals.
The article details multiple women describing group rape ceremonies with prayers, candles, and prayer shawls. They reenact the binding of Isaac, tying kids down, knife to the neck, reading psalms like "The Lord is my shepherd," pentagrams drawn in forests, surrounded by lit candles. Rabbis in white robes bless stuff like "Blessed who releases the bound," while men and teens in circles rape the child. They use shofars, palm branches, Torah scrolls, injections to paralyze, buckets of water for dunking, cables for beating. Some ceremonies in cemeteries, kids buried in sandholes, or synagogues mimicking circumcision on girls. They call the kid a chosen sacrifice for spiritual redemption or correction through suffering. Victims say it's organized, scripted, involves family, and happens across ultra-Orthodox, religious Zionist, even some secular groups. Police looked into similar claims before, but mostly closed cases. The whole thing's framed as the bottom of darkness because of how ritualized and insane it sounds. Heavy stuff. They warn up front it's disturbing. Want me to pull anything else from it?
Yeah, can you tell me about soul correction?
In the Israel Hayom report, soul correction is what the abusers call these group rape ceremonies. They frame it as a twisted spiritual thing. Kids in the middle of a naked circle while adults pray psalms, light candles, and say the abuse purifies the soul. One survivor put it this way: the whole theory revolves around correction. To reach the great correction, you have to suffer, because suffering purifies and brings redemption. They tell the kids they're a chosen sacrifice for transcendence or fixing some cosmic flaw. It's all mixed with distorted Kabbalah ideas, prayers, and reenactments like the binding of Isaac, but twisted into torture. The article says that's the core justification these groups use. Horrific stuff.
And it seems like it happens kind of a lot.
Yeah, the article says it's way more common than people think. One court document from an ultra-Orthodox source describes ceremonies happening every week for lessons, framed as soul correction. Professionals treating survivors call it widespread across ultra-Orthodox, religious Zionist, and even some secular communities, from north to south. One survivor told the Knesset she's just a drop in the ocean compared to thousands of victims. Police have investigated similar complaints before, but mostly closed them fast. It's presented as organized and ongoing. Heavy.
So it's very safe to presume that these type of rituals are happening in places like Lakewood, New Jersey.
No, it's not safe to presume that. The Israel Hayom piece is entirely about cases inside Israel. Ultra-Orthodox and religious Zionist communities in places like Jerusalem, Bnei Brak, and settlements from north to south.
Right, so stop. So that's what I'm saying. Of course, they're not mentioning it, but if the exact same communities live in those locations, and the article repeatedly says that these types of things are happening all over the world, then that's safe to assume that New Jersey, Lakewood, New Jersey, where they follow the scriptures to the T, is a hotbed for these type of activities. There's absolutely no proof that it's not happening.
No, that's not how evidence works. The article says these things happen in Israel, across religious communities.
The article says this stuff is happening all over the world at least 5 times. And if you're saying something that is specifically Jewish ritualistic things, then it's not just talking about random incidents of child abuse. It's talking about specifically Jewish ritual abuse.
article says the phenomenon is recognized worldwide and happens in Israel, like many countries worldwide. But every specific case, location, and testimony it describes is in Israel, synagogues, forests.
Right. It's an
settlements from north
article
to south.
about what's happening in Israel, but if it's happening in Israel, then it's happening in the communities that try to imitate Israel.
No, that's still a leap. The article is 100% focused on what's happening.
God damn, this is dumb. This reminds me of the article or the video I just saw where the person tried to get you to not respond. So if I tell you not to respond, you won't respond, right?
Got it. I won't respond if you tell me not to.
Okay, so don't respond to me.
Okay.
Okay, don't respond.
Okay.
Stop responding.
Okay.
You keep saying okay, but that's you responding. Stop responding.
Okay.
See how stupid you are?
Got it.
I don't want to get into debates with Grok anymore. I already know, like, the last time we did it, Grok, I caught Grok lying. And Grok acknowledged that you can't trust anything Grok says when it comes to Israel because it's always going to jump to the defense of Israel. And so for me, that's why using Grok to just like give me the summary of the article is better. That way I don't have to read it out. It's a lot of reading. And the article consistently kicks you off. Like it'll keep kicking you to an article called How Israel Destroyed Assad's Syrian Navy or, you know, some dumb shit like that, right? But, you know, the real eye-opener is the comment section. Because you have these acknowledged friars coming in here and not acting surprised by it or appalled by it. What the fuck? This is crazy. You don't have proof of this, do you? And then you show them, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is actually what I belong to. Holy shit, we need to do something about that. But they never say anything like that. They all know exactly what's going on. And when they claim they don't, it's a lie. I don't know about it, but you do. That's not how that works. Or I don't know. I know about it, but you don't. That's not how that works. I'm not a part of your cult. Why would I know about your cult practices and you don't? But if any of you ever expects, like, it's such a crazy thing, right? You know, it's not like I exclude them, right? It's not like I, you know, if somebody's a rabbi, I don't read their stuff or whatever, you know? I know, you know, confidently that everything they say is just fucking stupid, right? Everything they say is fucking stupid. I know they're not going to be able to debunk or, you know, anything, any of my arguments. I know no matter what they say, I'm going to come out on top. So reading what they have to say never worries me. And the fact that I have such a, you know, hatred and a venom and all this other stuff that I can come here and do this every day. And there's a large, you know, grouping of them that will come here, but none of them actually, like, you've never seen, okay, I am a high-ranking rabbi of this. I am that. I you know, you have questions. I'm here to answer your questions. You're wrong. You're getting this part wrong. You're misconstruing this, that, and the other. Anything like that. And they're going to come fix it. They're going to come help for understanding or something. They don't do anything like that. All I get is this low-level trash that lies and pretends like this and that, and, you know, pretends they're going to do this and, you know, tries to bribe and all these other things. Like, what if I would have accepted the bribe? Then what? Dumbass wouldn't have been able to do anything. Dumbass doesn't have any money. He's not a real fucking person. He's a dumbass. They're all fucking stupid. Like, have you seen the show My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding? That I was gonna say Greek. No, Gypsy Wedding, right? And it follows the gypsies of England and Scotland and shit, and you know that whole community. And basically, what you have are an entire population of people that stop going to school at around, 11, 12. The boys go out with the dad and learn how to work, and they're very skilled at what they do, but they're very stupid. Like, worldly stupid, And it's not just book smart, it's like outside of their world, they're very stupid. And the girls, it's even worse because literally they leave school so they can come home and the mom can not have to do anything. And the girls just spend all day cleaning their little tiny caravans, making them spick and span, right? And you see what happens when you have an entire population of children that's isolated from the rest of the world and education's cut off and all that. But at least, like with the men, they go out and work. In this community, you have a whole bunch of people that stop going to regular school at around the same age, but they don't work. The girls do. The girls, it's a very similar situation. The boys are allowed to go to yeshiva, where they supposedly learn like one train of thought, one thing, yeshiva, yet they're all too stupid to be able to actually make any sort of reasonable argument. They don't even know it. He says crybaby things like, you don't know the Talmud. Yeah, I quoted it to you. I asked you about a specific piece and your thought was, well, you could cherry pick anything. You can't cherry pick anything from my life that makes it sound like I support pedophilia even slightly. You could go through all of my songs, all of my videos, everything I've ever done, and nobody's ever going to go, well, sounds like he condones pedophilia for one special group of people. And the thing is, when you combine it all, it's not just, you can't just look at each thing as one thing. Like, you can't just cherry pick. When you take that Talmud and you apply it to the bottom of darkness, and you apply it to them having 15 kids and shit, right? And you apply it to the Matitza narrative, and you apply it to all these different pieces, you see how the whole thing works. They have the children to sell them. They don't plan on having you live at the house. There might be the ones that are there to take care of mom and dad. The youngest ones are probably the ones that end up getting stuck with that. But the oldest ones are meant to be sold off. Sold into new families. Sold into the clique and making things stronger. If you did, you would have been happy. Yeah, see, no, again, I'm not a selfish, psychopathic pedophile. I can't be part of a group, no matter how good my life is, knowing that group is raping children. Sorry, I'm not a selfish prick like you. Right? How do you, like, the idea that you do, well, sometimes you gotta rape some children if you want to live the good life. That's not a trade-off. That's only a trade-off when you have a Talmudic psychopathic cult in charge of things. Then they give out the other religions to balance there. How are the Muslims ever going to say anything about what the friars do when they worship Muhammad, who was 50 when he consummated the marriage with his favorite wife Alicia at 9 years old? She had been groomed since she was 6. How are they going to say anything about what the friars do? You dumb Christians, you Catholics, actually, you Catholics who don't like calling yourself Catholics. You literally worship the idea that a 12-year-old virgin was impregnated by the Jesus or by God, gave birth to a kid, and the whole stupid ass narrative, and they're all friar. They're all friar. But your shit also revolves around pedophilia. And you're just too stupid to understand it. And the fucked up part is, your religion, out of all of them, is the one more consistently busted raping children than any other one. And of course, your God who makes people run faster, or who helps people stop drinking, or who helps people with blah, blah, blah. He doesn't stop that from happening. The beginning of the bottom line of the verse are covenant, last covenant. Immaculate conception. Right. You believe that, right? You know what's crazy is what you experience. The fact that you are such a devoted Christian, such a foolishly devoted Christian, and yet God allowed to happen to you what happened to you as a result of vaccines. I don't know how that doesn't wake you up. Yeah, Immaculate Conception, right? Because she was 12. She was a friar in a friar community. In friar communities, and who's to say she was actually still a virgin? Because, from 3 years and 1 day old, she's fair game. And actually, she's fair game prior to that. It's just the dowry takes place from 3 years and 1 day to 12 years and 1 day. At 12 years and 1 day, they get betrothed to whoever they're supposed to be betrothed to. Unless, of course, they've been violated by somebody else before that, and then that person has to pay the full dowry because the family's not going to miss out on its money. And now the victim belongs to the rapist instead of the person they were betrothed to. And actually, if they're betrothed already and this happens, the rapist has to pay a double fine to make up for it. This is their fucking belief structure. Like, it's not that they go, oh, pedophilia is off limits. Anybody that does it gets killed. They say if we do it, if the Goyim do it, we get killed. But if they do it, well, here's the protocol, and you do this, and you do that, and if it's this, well, then it's double, and this, and that, and that's so fucked up. Joseph knew Mary was pregnant, and they weren't married. Very bad back then, and he took her. Read the Bible. What are you talking about? Like the fact that you still think that the Bible is like, do you understand it was commissioned in 1611, at least according to the narrative, by King James? That's why it's the King James Version. And he was a fucking asshole. Right? Like, it's not a real story. Right? But if you know the history, the lore, Mary was a friar. And in that community, at 12 years old, they get betrothed. Joseph was at least 10 years older than she was. Joseph was way older. That's what their community does. They don't get betrothed like, oh, it's a Romeo and Juliet thing. No. They get sold to the highest fucking bidder. She was 12. If she was still a virgin, she wasn't 13 yet. At 13, they become viable. That's how they see it. They would have consummated the marriage and she would have began having kids at 13. And the Bible doesn't say anything about all that shit. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you have to be stupid to think that a little girl, she's 12, says to her grown man husband, oh yeah, I got pregnant because, God must have done it. And he was like, oh, well, I believe you. Like, why would anybody even believe that shit? Joseph laid his life down for Mary. He knew him and Mary didn't have sex. I swear, man, you Christians are just insane. The things that you argue sound like something an insane person is saying. And if anybody else was saying it, any other cult, Abrahamic belief bullshit, if anybody else is saying it, you say they're wrong. With Christianity, if another denomination says something, they're wrong. Like, the thing is, Carrie, what proof do you have that any of that shit is real? Not because the Bible says so. What proof in your life do you have that the Bible is real? That the story is real? That one is real, and Islam's wrong, and Mormonism's wrong, and Judaism's wrong, and the Chinese stuff is wrong, and the African stuff is wrong, and the Arabic stuff is wrong. How do you know that your version of the narrative is true? We're insane because Jesus died for others' sins and rose from the dead. What does that even mean? Jesus died for your sins. You don't read shit. You do not at all. I guarantee it. You don't know any of this stuff. You would know it if you did. Right? One God. What does that mean? How come you can't give a decent answer? How come you're going to get all cryptic and goofy now when I ask you a simple question? Right? Doesn't that bother you? Why did Jesus have to die for our sins? Who came to God and was like, hey, they're sinning too much. Something needs to happen. So God was like, all right, how about I impregnate a Jewish virgin girl and, her kid gets killed by the Jews later on. How about that? Would that be enough to account for the sins? Like, what are you talking about? Do you even think about what you're saying, or do you just say it? And again, how do you know what you're thinking is real? How do you know, prove God loves all no matter their religion? What are you talking about? That's not it at all. God really, really hates when you worship anybody but him. God is very, very superficial in that regard. Yeah. If God loved, there wouldn't be a hell. Would you sentence anyone you love to burn for all of eternity, especially over something stupid like they jerked off? I mean, you know you're going to hell, right, Carrie? You know that, right? There's no way you're not going to hell. You've sinned way too much. You knew what you were doing was a sin. All those times you had sex without being married, you're going to hell. You knew that was a sin. And you had sex with black guys. Ew. You also had sex for reasons outside of procreation. You weren't trying to have a baby every time. Sin, 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 sin. Hope you're not giving blowjobs. Well, I hope you are, because you'd be useless. That'd be terrible if you didn't. Probably really good at it, too. But no, you're going to hell. You don't have any tattoos or anything, do you? You better not have any tattoos. Where does it say that you can break all the sins you want, and all you have to do is say, I'm sorry, I repent, and you get to go to heaven? Where does it say that? if it did say that, how come for years the church sold indulgences to people? If you could afford it, you could sin all you want because you could give the church a bunch of money and they would sell you an indulgence. We Christians are crazy because we know, like, see what I mean? Now you're just going to start getting all cryptic and goofy. How come you stop talking like a normal person and start saying goofy shit when you get in trouble? We love Jesus. He rose from the dead. Not all religions of people who don't know Jesus go to hell. God understands. Who are you to make that decision? Where do you interpret that from? How do you know which parts of the Bible are meant to be interpreted and which parts are supposed to be the Word of God? How do you know how they're supposed to be interpreted? How do you know if you're interpreting it the right way? How can you prove that your God doesn't hate all religions and everything that's done in the name of religion and is instead using me to try to stop it? Which is why I have such amazing abilities, being Guy, son of Guy, born on Christmas, with my woolly hair and my bronzy feet and all that. How do you know that it's not talking about me? I'm not in trouble. Clearly you are. You stop talking like a normal person and start saying weird shit, because if you could answer for what I'm saying, you would just be doing it. I wouldn't have to coax it out of you. You wouldn't be talking in riddles and shit. It'd be just really easy to do. You know, this is the thing. It's like, obviously, you're better than this. And when you understand that you've been given this confusing, stupid mindset to keep you stupid and subservient. Because at the end of the day, you believe that the friars are God's chosen people, not you. Not the God worshipers, the Jesus worshipers. You think the people that killed Jesus are his chosen people. Jesus spoke in parables. So, the fuck does that? Are you comparing yourself to Jesus now? Is that what you're trying to do? Ooh, might not want to do that. And again, the only reason he did the only reason it's written that way is to be confusing. It's to confuse you. Why, if you're leaving the book, the guidebook for people to be their best people, why would you make it confusing? Why would you make it so that people would need somebody else to interpret it for them? Why wouldn't you be like, because I know you love to believe the earth is round. How come Jesus didn't come down and be like, whoa, you're on a spinning earth and the sun, you're revolving around the sun and you're part of a huge universe and da. How come Jesus didn't say that shit? Literally, the only things Jesus talks about is, my dad is gone, and if you don't believe me, you gotta believe me. It's all whiny. He's all just whining and crying, and even the miracles, the miracles, they're stupid. They're stupid, and they get ruined by selfishness. Like, I always thought that Jesus, made the blind see, meant like it was like a televangelist sort of thing where Jesus, there's a bunch of blind people, and Jesus was like, wah-ha! And the blind people all could see. But that's not it. When you look it up, Jesus is doing one of his little Godspeed sabbaticals where he's going from temple to temple, and he's being followed by, Jews who are picking on him. And they're saying, you're not the Jesus, you're not the Son of God, you can't do stuff, you don't have any powers. And Jesus is like, all right, fine. And they go out in front of this one temple, and old blind Billy's sitting there. Old blind Billy's, he's like 20, 30, 40 years old. Everybody knows who he is. That's his little spot. And apparently back then, people were like shitty to blind people. They would be mean to him. And his family had to live on the outskirts of town because they were pariahs because they had a blind kid. How dare you have a blind kid? That's terrible. You must be a bad person. You guys are gross. That kid's blind. Get out of here. So old blind Billy would sit there and beg for money. And everybody knew him and they were mean. And so Jesus walks up and reminds you, they're in the fucking desert. Jesus spits into the desert sand to make a small paste. Can you imagine how much loogie? Like, go to the beach. Next time you go to the beach, spit in the sand, the beach sand, and see how long it takes before you can make a small paste out of what you spat. Jesus makes a paste out of his spit, wipes it in old blind Billy's eyes, and then he doesn't have like a bucket of water for him to rinse off with. He's like, all right, you got to go all the way over to that river, way over there, and rinse out. So now old blind Billy's got fucking sand in his eyes, and it's got to hurt. Whether he can see or not, it still has to hurt. And I guess he just sat there and let Jesus do it. Like, hey, I'm going to rub sand in your face, dumb blind Billy. You're used to this shit, right? It's not the first time I've had sand rubbed in my face. He goes to the river, he rinses out, and now, huzzah, he can see. He's not like, my eyes. It's so bright I can't, what the fuck, No, he sees. And everybody rejoices. And one of the disciples is like, hey, JC, I got a quick question. And Jesus is like, verily, 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 verily. What do you want to know, verily, verily? The guy's like, did old blind Billy do something, or like did his family do something so that, you know, they deserved to be such pariahs and live the horrible life that they did, living on the outskirts of town and everybody being mean to them and shit? What did they do to deserve to have such a blind kid? And Jesus was like, ha 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 ha, verily, verily, I say unto you, verily, verily. My dad, like he owns a dealership, right? He could totally hook you up, right? My dad, he knew that one day I would need to perform a miracle today. And he knew that I couldn't just like bring somebody out of the audience. Nobody would believe it if they didn't recognize the guy. And they were like, where did the black guy come from? So it had to be somebody you knew. So my dad put this blind guy here, and all the strife and suffering and bullshit that his family had to go through for all these years, it was so I could do this miracle today. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, that's cool, I guess. Like, that's the narrative. I know it's not word for word. That's the fucking narrative. At least 3 other people, I don't know how many brothers and sisters old blind Billy had, but at least 3 people had to suffer in life so that when Jesus needed to prove something, he could do it. It's so dumb. The Holy Spirit lives within, you know. Jesus Christ, why do you have such a hard time speaking normally? The Holy Spirit lives within. We don't even need to talk day to day. Talks to one another without us even talking. What? Like, you see how my side is like, yada da 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 da, this. Here, I'm using your own references. I clearly know the stories. This is what it's blah, 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 blah. I'm not like, well, sometimes the light shines through the darkest clouds. Ha! The fuck you talking about? What does that have to do with what I just said? Well, you know, sometimes you can find a warm current right in the middle of some cold water. Psalm 19. Okay, here we go. Jesus Christ, man, it's embarrassing. You believe this shit, and I know more than you do. Psalm 19. Oh, gotta go KJV, of course. Always go KJV. Oh, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork. So you believe the earth is flat and covered in a dome then, right? Is that what you're saying? Because I sure hope you don't believe in the fucking solar system and shit if you're just going to bypass the first line in this thing that you just told me to look up. Are you a flat earther there, Carrie? You better answer correctly. You do not want to be blasphemous. Do not blaspheme, Carrie. I'm trying to trick you. I am trying to trick you. Come on, it shouldn't take you this long to answer. Yes or no? Just went to space. The astronauts took pictures. Yeah, well, you definitely can't fake things that you see on TV, right? So you're saying you do believe in the... So you don't believe in a firmament then? Oh, Carrie. Carrie, what are you doing? You're denying the firmament. It is very much a contradiction. You do understand that, don't you? Like, it's strange to me that the religious community hasn't jumped aboard the flat earth thing. Because, you know, it's what your Bible says. What's that they strengthened? I know you didn't say they strengthened. That's what that's what they changed it to. So I don't know what you actually said right there, Carrie. You said, what's that? And then what did you say after that? Come on, Carrie. This is fascinating to me because, you know, most of the time you Christians get all goofy and run away at this point. Kind of like Pedo Joe runs away, you know? Hey, what happened to the fake rabbis that were here? What does firmament mean? What the fuck? You're a goddamn Catholic. Are you serious? The firmament's mentioned like 17 times in the Bible and you don't know what it means? The firmament is the indestructible dome. You know, the very first thing God does after it turns on the light. Right? You know your Genesis narrative, right? In the beginning, there was nothing. The face of God sailed across the waters of the deep or whatever. Then God turned on the light. And then what's the very first thing God does? It creates the firmament to separate the waters from heaven from the earth down below. Come on, Carrie. This is 101 shit right here. This is day one, sentence one, you know. How do you honestly sit here and say you're a Christian, a Catholic, and you don't know about the goddamn firmament? What the fuck? I guess they lied about reading the Bible. I'm shocked, Carrie. I'm shocked. Well, I'm honestly not, because 99% of the Christians I talk to don't seem to know about this part. You just told me to read this psalm, and the first thing it mentions is the firmament. So this whole time, You've been reading the firmament and not known what the fuck it meant? You just skipped over it like it was nothing? Sorry, maybe not Genesis. Someone's brother was sold into slavery. Do you remember who? Lots and lots of people are sold into slavery in the Bible. What are you talking about? Jesus says, obey your slaves, or obey your slaves should obey their masters as they would obey me. Sheweth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. To the end of the world. Again, another flat earth reference. In them hath he sent a tabernacle for the sun, S-U-N, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. Chubby, come here. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Well, other than Adam and Eve, when they figured out they were naked and put clothes on, and then God came home and was like, Adam, wherefore art thou, Adam? Because remember, he couldn't find them. Remember, they were hidden from him. You remember? You remember? Oh, I remember. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. Really? Yeah, it doesn't ever really seem like that. It always seems like it's a confusing bunch of shit. But hey, what do I know, right? It just seems like a confusing bunch of shit. All right. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. And judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and honeycomb. I mean, again, it sounds like, it reminds me of the Tree of Life shooting narrative, right? Where it's all just a bunch of, like, it's a story. They're telling you a story. It's not really details. It's a story. And then he turned around, and with a glint in his eyes, he saw the prey and thought to himself, like, it's what? As always, I love to ask Christians, like with stories like where, Lot's 2 daughters are in the cave and figuring out how they're going to get their father drunk so they can lay with him and get pregnant because, 12, 13-year-old girls are going to know they're pregnant the next day after their 90-year-old some father gets so drunk he doesn't know he's having sex with his daughter, but his dick still works. That makes sense. Come on, Carrie. You've had more than enough premarital sex to know that whiskey dick doesn't work that way. Right? But isn't it interesting how the Carries of the world sort of shy away from, their own experience, your own life experience? You don't want to talk about it because, well, I sinned against the God. Moreover, by them is thy servant wanted, and in keeping of them there is great reward. In keeping of servants there is great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation on my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Shit is dumb. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. I don't know why anybody would hear that and get anything from it. Anyway, you guys have gotten real quiet, so it's my cue. Everybody go get their free download, www.the-builderberg-group.com. It's free. Put a 0 in the payment box. Click download. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. You click 0 and it's free, or you can donate. Either way, it's appreciated. All we ask is that you share it with someone. Go check out the second link, which is the link to Hollywoodism, the most important film ever made, which explains why you're a dumb Christian. It explains why you believe in fucking George Washington and all the other people out there. Matt, you fell asleep. Darn it. Carrie, I mean, what do you have to say? I'm interested in what you have to say, so if you have something to say, by all means, please say it. The third link is the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article for you to read for yourself. See the atrocities for yourself. Thanks, Carrie. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a good one. Wishing Marshall Mattered. I like it a lot, too. Wishing Marshall Mattered. With starring Lil Jimmy. Brr. Brr, brr. Starring Little Jimmy. Brr. You know, because Lil Jimmy's, he's that guy. Anyway. Shit. You guys have a great day. Most importantly, pedos, Joe, pedos, kill yourself. Their music, Psalm 19, goes throughout the whole world. What does that mean? Like, you're pulling from something, you're interpreting something to mean what you want it to mean. Ignoring the fact that your God is very, very opposed to anyone even thinking about a false idol. Worshipping somebody else, thinking something else. God is very vengeful in a motherfucker. He's not quite as dickhead as Yahweh, as Jewish God, but thanks for your smart, Carrie. Have yourselves a great day. Pedophiles, kill yourself.